Hey everyone, welcome back to the Charlie Hewitt Experience. And today's podcast is brought to you by the social media app What's Poppin'. What's Poppin' is an innovative approach to social media and everyone should try it out. Do you like Twitter or Snap Maps? Then What's Poppin' is for you. What's Poppin' is on the App Store and soon on Google Play. Today, our guest is Joshua Chaskes. How are you, Josh?
I'm great, Charlie. How you doing?
I'm good. Um, Josh and I, what we did is we just went through our Mr. Thayer headshot video kind of thing, and we can't really go over it that much. So I don't even know why I brought it up, but
I mean, maybe you shouldn't have.
yeah,
Just keep that on the down low.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna keep it on the low, but we just took some headshots. It was pretty interesting. Getting ready, I never even knew that this much work was actually put into Mr. Thayer. I think you did because you were in community council
No, I didn't.
a
I
couple years
definitely
ago.
did not.
What do you mean you didn't know
I
that?
didn't see I saw what I saw in community council was like the behind the scenes, like preparing
Hmm.
the streamers and balloons that they throw down when they
Yeah.
announce the winner, and I saw like people practicing their talents and stuff, but I never saw any of like the dance rehearsals,
Hmm.
or I never saw any of that, or like
Hmm.
any of the like any of that shooting stuff that we just did. I never saw any of that, so that was kind of crazy, like the amount
Hmm.
of sort of time that's gone into it.
Yeah. And I know, and shout out to Brian because he's really putting in a lot of work. He's
Yeah,
got
for
to,
real.
yeah, he's got to balance the schedules of like
And he's
15
in it
kids. And
too.
he's in it himself. So, um, the bias, the questionable bias in the
Is
video.
Mr. Thayer rigged?
Is Mr. Thayer rigged? I don't think it's rigged. Um, well, no, it kind of is, ish. But
Care to elaborate
well,
on
no,
that,
yeah,
Charlie?
yeah. So I'll elaborate. Just because obviously the judges are going to have some preconceptions
Yeah.
of the contestants. So whether or
Hmm.
not their answers are actually good, I think they're kind of going to be masked behind their actual. Um, they're going to be masked behind their actual like feelings about that person.
Hmm.
So like say for example, um, Joe Nobody, like has like is known for like getting a ton of attention and has like a 2.9, but he's like the funniest kid up there and he does like a ton of
Yeah,
like good
they're
stuff.
gonna be biased against
Yeah,
him.
no,
I've
they're gonna
thought
be
about
biased
that.
against him. Um, Also, he's doing the video too. I feel like, but I don't feel like that's a major impact on it. Like the video doesn't have a major role in who gets past like the first round. It's just like a funny video.
Yeah, I'd hope not.
I know. I hope not too because I feel like my answers were just
My answers were garbage. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, if you're going to Mr. Thayer and like you see my answers and they're bad, like I know. I'm sorry.
yeah. It'll be fine. I mean, like the thing is, I feel like it's really hard to come up with answers on the spot.
Yeah, they like sprung it on us.
I
They're like,
know.
"Whoa!" and
Which is
I
which is
couldn't
kind of
reveal
like
the
how I
question.
sympathize with people that come on the show because it's
Charlie Hewitt
hard.
experience. It is.
It's
It's
hard.
difficult.
So
It's a grind.
because I've thought about all these things beforehand. Um,
Hmm.
I probably put in like 20 minutes about like doing researching, not necessarily things about you, but the good things to talk
20
about.
minutes of exhaustive research.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that you're not really prepared for because I do not tell any of the guests what
Oh,
we're going to be talking about. Um, so sometimes it can get interesting, and sometimes it
well,
can
now
get
I'm worried
you're worried.
after hearing that.
No, you shouldn't be worried.
All right.
Just a little afraid. Anywho, um, we're gonna go. All right, so where'd you apply to college?
I applied to a couple of different schools. Should I
Hmm.
say like all of them?
Yeah, go ahead if you want.
I applied to I think 9 schools. I
Oh, that's
applied
a good amount.
to um Brown. That was like my number one. I
Yeah.
ED'd there, waiting on answer in like I think a week.
Oh, that's nerve wracking.
RD
Yeah.
comes back in a week. I got deferred. I applied to Northeastern,
Hmm.
Tufts, Duke, and Harvard, which my dad wanted me to apply
Yeah.
to. I'm not really banking on those. BU, UNH, UConn, and UMaine.
Okay. Um, that's awesome. And have you heard back from any of the schools yet?
Um, I got into UMaine, UNH, and Northeastern. Oh, and UConn.
Nice. So you have a lot of options right now.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I feel like 9 colleges is like a good like
Like a
range.
happy
Yeah,
medium.
yeah, like happy medium
Yeah.
because I feel like the kids that apply to like over 15 schools,
That's just a lot of
it's
work, man.
it's a lot of work, and also when you actually get into like half of those because or
Yeah.
you're probably going to get in that maybe like half of those because you're probably going to apply to some safeties and some 50-50s
Hmm.
unless they're all breaches, which would be crazy. But um, I just feel like there's too much decision making to go on because I feel like if you're applying to like all the small liberal arts schools in New England,
Yeah,
You're gonna
especially
get
all the like research you'd have to do to like visit all those
mhm.
schools.
Yeah. I think it'd just be really hard
Yeah.
applying overall. And so, what do you want to study in college?
Um, I actually don't know
No.
because I used to think that I wanted to study marine biology. I've been really into marine biology for a long time, like
Yeah.
specifically whales. Like I went on a whale watch when I was 6, and that I don't know, that's been like a really influential experience for me. Like I love like Blue Planet, like Planet Earth, all those like
Mhm.
documentaries and stuff on Netflix. I like to watch all those and like I just thought for a while that I wanted to like study the ocean, the animals in it. But then
Yeah.
recently I've had a more interest in like film and like video arts. And so I don't really know. I'm just kind of gonna play it by ear when I get
Mhm.
there, I guess. Because you don't have to determine a major for a
Right.
while, right?
Yeah, I think yeah, me personally, I think that's the best thing to do as well, like to just go in there with an open mind
Yeah.
because everybody changes. So it's just like if you decide that you want to be an econ major when you're 17 and you go straight to college and you're just like, "Oh crap, I really
I
like
hate
philosophy
this.
or something," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So something you're really passionate about is movies. You actually are the head of the film club.
I am.
Um,
Along with Ben and Eric and Josh Rothman. They'll kill me if
and
I don't
okay.
say that.
And how many meetings do you guys have a year?
Oh, that's a touchy subject.
Oh, touchy.
No, 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 it's fine. We had we actually had a very good amount of meetings in the first semester. We were meeting bi-weekly,
Hmm.
every Tuesday after school, plug plug plug.
Oh,
And
great.
we were having really good discussions, I think, about
Yeah.
different movie scenes, like the values and themes behind them and like how they apply to the rest of
Hmm.
the movie, maybe how they like link to whatever society at the time.
Right.
And we had a pretty decent membership. We had people showing out for the meetings, and this term we've dropped the ball a little bit,
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you. I don't think we have had a meeting since winter break.
Listen, that's fine. That's okay.
We're going to. We're still satisfying the requirements for like a club this
Yeah.
year, like the community council requirements.
Right.
So we're gonna be good. And as soon as we come back from break, we're gonna have a meeting that Tuesday. You heard it here first. Come to film club after school Tuesday, coming back from break.
All right. You heard it here first on the Charlie Hewitt Experience. Film club Tuesday after school, first week back from spring break.
Definitely come.
And with film club, what are some of your like favorite movies or like favorite scenes in movies and
My
stuff
favorite
like that?
movies. Now personally, I'm a big Marvel fan,
Me as well.
as you know.
Yes.
I'm very partial to Marvel movies, so like those will be high up my list. But outside of those, um, Interstellar,
Hmm.
big movie for me. I love that movie. Some of the like the cinematography in that, also the score, Hans Zimmer
Hmm.
is just incredible. I like Quentin Tarantino movies
I
and that.
love Quentin
Yep.
Tarantino. I'm a
Kind
huge
of
fan.
controversial sometimes, but Kill Bill, Pulp Fiction, absolutely love
Yep.
those.
Did you like Django Unchained?
I did like Django
Yeah.
Unchained a lot.
I feel like his movies kind of go into a direction where we don't really think about often. Like with Kill Bill, it's you don't usually see a badass woman chopping people's heads off
Yeah.
in movies, and you don't usually see the depiction of slavery so accurately defined in movies. I feel like,
Mhm. I
and
feel like Django maybe wasn't
well,
perfectly
right,
accurate
right, I
for
know,
it,
but
yeah, yeah,
but I definitely feel like he wasn't cherry picking
yeah, yeah,
like
for sure.
like easy things to talk about. Like he was
Mhm.
definitely like some movies they just talk about slavery like oh like they're just in the background like they're just picking
Yeah,
cotton. But in this, you actually saw people getting whipped.
and it is a redemption arc too.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
Django wins in the end. It's not just about the suffering. Hui just looked at me like I spoiled the movie for him. If you haven't seen Django in 6 years, you're just too bad.
Yeah, sorry.
Um, like he does, it's not just about people suffering under slavery, it's
Yeah,
about
it's
how
not a
they
victim
overcome
movie.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a victim movie. And it's how he like saves his girl and stuff like that, and it's really awesome. And sorry, Hui, you
Wait,
kind of
just
knew.
watch the movie.
Just watch the movie. If you're out there listening, we spoiled it to you. Watch the movie. It's been out for 6 years. Come on. And you kind of touched on the subject of Marvel movies.
I did.
And so I'm just kind of curious, why do you like Marvel movies? Because I feel like a lot of people out there are like, oh, they're not really good because of like some of the things you said, the score, the cinematography, stuff like that, the character development.
Mhm.
For you, is it more of like a nostalgia for where you go back to your childhood where you read comics, or it's because you read comics now, stuff like that?
Well, for me, it's definitely been an ongoing interest. Like I used to read comics when I was little. I still do now.
Hmm.
And like I love just the storylines and the arcs. And I think something that a lot of people who don't like the movies have in
Hmm.
common is that they weren't hugely involved with Marvel or those comics as a child, because
Yeah.
I think one of the big components of the movies is it's not necessarily like trying to be an incredible film as a whole, but it's about getting those characters on the big screen, putting those images in your mind. Because if you were a kid and you grew up reading Spider-Man or like
Mm-hmm.
watching some of the TV shows, like you love Spider-Man, and it's
Yeah.
just it's a way of getting that onto the big screen in a way that's visually appealing for people who already love the characters, because the purpose of the movies isn't necessarily to introduce or make you love the characters, because their whole brand and their comics has already done that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sort of a way to get them in a different medium that's satisfying to people that already like them. So if
Right.
you don't already like the characters, you might not be happy with the way they're depicted, because it's not necessarily the greatest film of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone who's already a fan, they're great to watch.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. Like, I definitely love Marvel movies. I've been going. I actually really got into it when I saw the first Avengers movie in theaters. I actually I
Mm-hmm.
owned all the Iron Mans. I watched them, but I
Yep.
never watched like Captain America or like the Hulk. I never watched those. Once I saw Avengers, I was like sold on
Oh
the
yeah.
whole superhero thing. And the only reason why, fun fact about me, the only reason why I watched the first couple Avengers, the first couple Iron Man movies was because Robert Downey Jr., who plays Iron Man, is my third cousin.
Really?
I've never met him.
You have to have him on the Charlie Hewitt Experience.
If I get him on the Charlie Hewit Experience, this thing would blow up like crazy.
After
Um,
Endgame.
After Avengers Endgame, but so basically how it works is he's my grandfather's cousin is Robert Downey Sr.
That's crazy.
So I actually have I thought about trying to contact him for the longest time about getting Robert Downey Jr. to speak at our graduation.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
But the thing is he's, I actually have his assistant's number and everything.
Really?
I got it through Robert Downey Sr. Um, and I wanted to, but I feel like there are just too many moving pieces with him, with the movies that he's
Right.
filming. Also, the fact that community council would probably just be like, I mean,
No, no, no. If you got Robert Downey Jr., Community Council would say nothing to you.
Okay.
They would do it.
okay, yeah, because I feel like that'd be freaking awesome.
That would be.
Um, anyway, all right, it's kind of sidetracked, but so are you excited for Avengers Endgame? Who you might want to shut your ears
Oh yeah, you
for
might
this
want to
talk,
get out of
'cause
here.
Who does
We
not
hate
like
spoilers.
Who does not like spoilers,
No,
theories, or
but
anything of that.
Avengers
So-
Endgame.
So
I think to call
what do
it
you
the
think?
culmination of my childhood might be an understatement.
Yes, I actually agree with that because watching that first Avengers film, I was like, this has so much potential.
Yeah.
And
And then they
Avengers
did it.
Infinity War was amazing, but Endgame, it looks like it's gonna be even better.
Endgame's just like when you set the stage for something over 10 years,
Hmm.
the way they have, it's just watching it, it's just going to be, it's such a mix of emotions, because
Yeah.
there's going to be the satisfying component of like seeing them all back on the big screen. We can
Yep.
assume there's going to be some redemption component to the movie.
Yep.
But then also the sadness of like seeing if any characters die, or
Yeah.
like also like seeing those actors on the big screen in those roles for the last
Mhm.
time. It's like it's
Yeah.
going to be a big mix of emotions for people.
I agree. And what do you think about the directors, Anthony and Joe Russo, coming out and saying that they use fake footage in trailers? And if so, and like, what are your thoughts on that?
First off, I just think Anthony and Joe Russo have done an incredible job.
I
Like,
I,
I think
yeah.
not only with making the movies, but with marketing the movies. Like, they've had the perfect blend of secrecy and also giving us what we want.
Mhm.
Like, they've handled it very well. And I think the decision to include fake footage in the trailers is like, people are like, oh, they're lying to us. But, like, people would also complain if they spoiled too much of the movies in the trailers. And
Right.
I think this is the best way to go,
Mhm.
because it gives people, like, good footage, like what they want from a trailer, while also not revealing any essential plot components of the movie.
And I think something that's really interesting is that in Avengers Infinity War, the trailers that came out, you had a general sense of what the main plan was going to be.
Yeah.
Thanos was going to go around the universe, killing people, trying to get all the Infinity Stones, and then eventually snap. But for Avengers Endgame, I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, there's
It-
some theories going around.
In the trailers, you literally look, at what's happening, and you have no idea what point in time it is.
Yeah.
You don't know if Thanos is there. You don't know if they're fighting Thanos or they're fighting somebody else. If they're traveling through
Mhm.
time, what they're doing. There's no idea.
And
And I
I've
think that's the
heard-
beauty of it.
There are going to be villains in Avengers Endgame other than Thanos. It's not just them going to beat up Thanos again. I think the Russos said that. You can fact check me on that.
Okay,
Viewers out there.
that's really all right. So who do you think would be the other villains then, if it's not just
I was
Thanos?
thinking the Skrulls, like the fact that they were introducing them in Captain
Mhm.
Marvel. I thought that would be a huge component, because the Skrulls are very important in
But they're the good guys, though.
yeah, so now that's why I'm thinking no, they're not going to do that.
Hmm.
Um
But 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 I guess there are good and bad people of
there
every
are.
race.
I would like to no, never mind. I'm not going to say that.
I just think it'd be interesting to see. Well, because Captain Marvel takes place 20 years ago, and so the Skrulls can
Right.
change. They can be angry people.
That's true. Maybe they have a reason to be as well.
I don't know.
Thanos, you never know.
Dude, I just think Josh Brolin as an actor
Josh
did an
Brolin's done an incredible job.
incredible job.
I just you
His-
couldn't have picked anyone better.
no,
You
hi-
couldn't have done it.
and his voice is just like so perfect for that role of just the villainous monster, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, do you have any theories about Avengers Endgame?
I have a lot of theories.
All right, what do you think it? All right, I'm gonna ask you for two theories. I'm gonna ask you for the one that you think is most likely to be true, and one that is the most interesting, like the one that's like kind of like far fetched, but like it's really cool and lines up.
Does it have to line up? Because I saw one
No,
that
no,
doesn't
go
make
ahead.
any sense,
Go
but it's
ahead.
very funny. All right, this is the first one. It's the most far fetched, but the most interesting. If you looked on Google for a while, I don't know if it's still happening, but it was. I think Justin showed this to me. I had seen it before, but he brought it up that it was still a thing.
Hmm.
If you go on Google and you look at the cast for Avengers Endgame, Hugh Jackman was among the cast.
Really?
He was. He was in the
Hugh
cast
Jackman.
list, like on the Google cast list.
And do you know who edits that? Is it like a random? Like
I
is it
don't
open
know.
to the
That's
public?
the thing. I don't know who edits that. I feel like it'd be very
Mm.
easy to inspect Element and just
Yeah.
fix that. But obviously they can't do that yet. The Fox merger did just finish, so they
I heard
can.
about that. Yeah.
So they have to recast everyone except Deadpool, and they can make movies with those elements going forward, but they can't put any of it in Endgame.
Well, no, they don't have to recast because they own the rights. So can't they use
They're
Hugh
recasting though.
Jackman?
They're recasting everyone but
Everybody.
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay. Yeah, because if they recasted Ryan Reynolds, that would be a disastrous move.
The public would just
The
they'd
public
throw
would
a fit.
hate them.
Yeah. So
But that's very interesting. Hugh Jackman Wolverine shows up in Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. And then what Justin did bring up to me is that
Yes.
there's a triple scar on Thanos' face on his cheek that like looks like Wolverine could have done it. And I don't
That's
know what that
interesting.
is. I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe
I
it
thought
could
it
have
was
been
interesting.
the cat from Captain Marvel.
Could have been Goose.
Could
Could
have
have
been
been the
Goose.
cat from Captain Marvel.
All right. So what's your most plausible
likely
theory?
to happen theory. Well, I saw an insane theory that was like an entire plot that made sense, but I don't
Go ahead.
remember it. I don't remember
Oh,
it
you
all.
don't remember it? Okay.
And there was one that I have to think about this. Well, this isn't really a theory. No, that could be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It was just like this is a theory that I've seen that is less plausible now, but that I also came up with on my own, so I'm pretty proud of it.
Hmm.
I think there's a possibility that Ant-Man Scott Lang in Avengers Endgame is a Skrull.
Hmm. And why do you think that?
I think it because, and this is mostly based on the first trailer. In the second trailer, there's more footage of him. It seems like a lot less likely to happen.
Yeah.
It seems like it's not. But in the first trailer, he looked so sketchy in all that footage of him. We know he was in the quantum realm, so they didn't talk about anything about him getting out of that. They just showed him like out on the streets, and he was like knocking on the door of the Avengers complex, and he's like, "Hey, hey guys, let me in. It's Scott Lang." There was like, and Steve looked at the screen. He did not look happy. There was like an ominous music swell in the background.
Hmm.
I felt like it was a possibility. Although with the Skrulls being good guys, it's
Right,
not.
but also you need a Skrull that's seen Scott Lang before he went into the quantum realm. Because the Skrull needs to see the person before they can transform into it. So unless Louise is a Skrull, if Louise or
Luis is a
somebody,
Skrull. If Luis was a Skrull, that'd blow my mind.
yeah,
I'd love
that would blow my mind too. That'd be really interesting. I think one of my theories is that it'd be really interesting for this to happen, but if Tony Stark dies
Bro.
in space, but then they somehow like go back in time and like get him before he
Get
dies,
him before he died.
I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
I think that would be crazy.
I think it would be too because you see him die on screen within the first like 20 minutes of the movie, and then he's just like, oh, never mind, I'm back, bitches. Um, yeah. So
Just
So,
touched
yeah.
the mic by accident. My bad.
no, it's fine. All right, so I'm gonna switch the topic a little bit. We have a couple things in common, but one of the things that we do have is being Jewish, and so how did you like grow up being Jewish? Do you feel like that it was any different than somebody that was Catholic, Protestant, stuff like that?
Well, for me, I think it definitely was different
Yeah.
because there's all obviously being Jewish is fairly different than being Catholic or Protestant,
Right.
but also not as much as people think
Mhm.
because in my family, my dad is Jewish and my brother and I were raised Jewish, but my mom didn't grow up Jewish.
Mhm.
She grew up Catholic, so we still celebrate like Christmas and stuff, and we go down to my grandmother's house for Easter, and we don't like do anything Christian, but we still like observe those
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
days. And we like on Christmas we do like exchange gifts and stuff because my mom's whole like side of the family is Christian.
Right.
So we do all that stuff. And I think it definitely was different because like going to Hebrew school and obviously like
On Sunday.
the rabbi, the cantor, like the whole
Mhm.
different religious like hierarchy kind of.
Right.
It's just a different experience and like I don't know. I feel like it's a similar sense of community. I don't
Yeah.
know with a synagogue and like a church.
I kind of feel like synagogues are a lot smaller than churches, so I feel like
Yeah.
there's more room for you to like talk to people. Like my synagogue only had, like yeah, like my synagogue only had like I want to say like 50, maybe 50 to 100 people,
Yeah.
but churches can have like thousands.
That's true. Mine is similar size to yours. I would say
Yeah.
50 to 100, maybe a little more. On the high holy days, we get a
Yeah.
couple hundred.
Oh yeah, yeah. On the high holy days, yeah, we get a lot too. Um, and so that begs the question: what's your favorite Jewish food?
My favorite Jewish food.
You have
You are
kugel.
Charlie is wearing the kugel me shirt.
I'm wearing a
I just
kugel
want
me
to get
shirt.
that out there. If you're Jewish, you understand.
Don't look up kugel on Urban Dictionary. It is not pretty.
No, why would you even say that? Oh,
Kugel me. Kugel me is a whole different meaning when you look it up on the Urban Dictionary. It's a very different meaning.
Oh, my favorite Jewish food. It's got to be matzo ball soup.
Oh,
My grandmother would make it on
yeah.
Passover. My grandmother was the main sort of outlet of Jewish food in my family. My mom did learn to make latkes,
Mhm.
but my grandmother was the big Jewish food cooker maker person. And we don't see her as much anymore. She lives in Arizona.
Oh, it's too
And
bad.
yeah, and so we used to go over to her house for like Hanukkah, Passover. I think we went for Sukkot a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
One thing that's funny with me is you mentioned latkes.
I did.
My dad is German Catholic, and he puts yeah, my dad's German Catholic and my mom's Jewish. So it's kind of a similar situation with you. We celebrate everything, but my dad, he always tries to make matzo ball soup, but
Oh,
he mixes the matzo ball stuff with dumplings, so it ends up to be like this massive creation. So it tastes like matzo balls, like it tastes like a matzo ball, but it's like the size of a dumpling. So it's like humongous.
wait. So how big are we talking here? Because
Like
I've seen
so okay,
some
so
pretty big matzo balls.
I'm thinking radius maybe like 4 inches.
Oh my god,
Yeah, yeah.
that's actually ridiculous.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like, hold on. I'm trying to think. Is it like? I'm thinking. No, no, no,
The
no,
amount
no.
of carbs.
No, wait, no. I'm trying to think. Wait, no. I think it's more like around like 3 actually.
See?
But still, I think it. Yeah.
That's very large.
Whatever the radius of that is.
That's very
So,
large, man.
I'm just showing. Yeah. So it's like that's the diameter.
Try to like look.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's pretty massive. I know. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was using my
very
fingers
large.
to show.
Very
Um,
large.
Yeah, no, but the
The size doesn't matter.
yeah,
It's the quality that counts.
yeah, it's the quality of the food.
Family
Um,
friendly, Charlie. Come on, we're
this
better
is
than this.
PG content on the Charlie Hewit Experience. So yeah, he always makes an effort to kind of work with my religion, and he's great about it. And so anyway, about the Lockies, I
The
got
Lockies,
so
right.
sidetracked.
The large,
Um,
large matzo
The
ball.
large
Oh
matzo
wait.
balls.
Never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
I'm being stupid.
So Lockies. So the funny thing is I thought Lockies were just Jewish food at first, but I went to Oktoberfest one time.
Oh wow.
And they Oktoberfest in like Randolph or something. It wasn't like a
Oh, I thought you went to
Oktoberfest-
like
no,
Berlin.
no.
or
If it
something.
was like in Berlin, that'd be crazy. But they were selling Lockies,
Mhm.
and I gotta tell you, German Lockies are pretty good. They don't compare to Jewish Lockies, but still, they were still really good. It's really interesting
It's like a
see.
Yiddish thing too, right? So
Yeah.
it's like over there, like it's in the region.
Mhm.
They could pick it up.
Definitely. So have you ever gone to Israel, or are you planning to go to Israel?
I have never gone to Israel. I would love to go. I did recently get a passport.
Oh,
I
did
do
you
have a passport, viewers out there. Don't let Hui tell you any different. But for my bar mitzvah, my synagogue does a thing where they give you like a $250 gift certificate towards a trip to Israel.
Mhm.
So I have not used that yet. I don't know how long it lasts. Maybe it expired. I don't know. But I'd love to go.
Well, you always have Birthright, which is for free.
Well, but that's to like cross the border and get in, right? You still have to get like book a flight
No, well, no, I actually think it's free to go
to like
entirely.
go for free.
Yeah, I think so
Then I'm
because,
going.
huh?
Then I'm going.
Yeah. So I think it's completely free. The thing is like me morally, I don't think I can go to Israel, and because I would just not feel safe. Do you
That's
know what I
true.
mean?
Like I
Just
feel like there's certain parts of it I could go to.
yeah, yeah, I feel that as well. It's just like I've seen so many bus bombings. Like if I
Hmm.
went, I would refuse to ride a bus. I would refuse to. I would
Yeah,
not.
I actually feel that a lot.
I would just choose to walk wherever I was going with people.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
I feel like you would need to be with like you would need to be with like a native or like a guy. And native sounds like bad, but like a guy,
yeah,
like
yeah,
somebody who lives there. Like
yeah.
I feel like this isn't a time where you can just go there and be touristy.
Right. Yeah. No, you can't do that because if you step into the wrong area, you don't know what you're getting into. Um, and I don't really know how much you want to delve deep into this, but because this is kind of political, but for me, I have mixed feelings about Israel, even though I am Jewish.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that.
and you're Jewish as well. So I'm kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious to hear your perspective on the whole Palestinian-Israeli conflict.
I don't know how deep I want to go into that, only because I'm
Okay.
not as educated about it as I should
Okay.
be. And the extent that I know is that, like, both sides are doing morally questionable things,
Yeah.
and Israel is kind of being fairly oppressive
Yes.
at the current
Yeah.
state.
Um, I think the main thing for me is like the single state.
Yeah,
It's never gonna happen.
it's not gonna
It's
work.
too late.
Hmm.
Um, I feel that if the Palestinians could get rid of Hamas and protest like 100% peacefully, like they locked arms, like everybody, even the men, and it's not
Yeah,
just the children getting thrown to the wall, getting shot at,
right.
because that's one of the things that was happening. There was Hamas like throwing like women and children, and the world knows that it's Hamas doing that.
Right.
So I feel like if they did peaceful protests, much like Martin Luther King did in the '60s, the world will look in and say this isn't right.
For sure. I think they definitely, and that would put a lot of pressure on Israel to do something.
Right.
But then also, it's very difficult to be peaceful in the face of what's
Exactly.
happening to
Yeah,
them.
exactly. So I just think it's a really confusing situation, um, and it's kind of hard to talk about. You're right. So uh, we're just gonna move on.
All right, sounds good.
So you were the spelling bee champion. That's our next topic.
Oh no.
So I have a little game. So here on the Charlie Hewit Experience, we play a lot of fun and games.
Sponsored by.
Sponsored by Fun and Games and Conspiracies too. Check it out, funandgamesand.com. So, God, my phone, Snapchat. Sorry, people. Um,
Charlie's popular. Pretty
you
popular
you
guy.
are the spelling bee champion of last year. You are reigning spelling bee
I
champion.
am.
So, I have a couple words for you to spell out.
Oh man. If
Here
I
we
get
go.
exposed on the Che, that's not boding well for
All right, here we
spelling bee
go.
on Monday.
Handkerchief.
Should I like spell it?
As though it's a spelling bee.
Handkerchief. Handkerchief.
Can we get a round of applause from the live audience?
Studio audience.
There we go. And now I'm gonna have one more for you. Playwright. Would you like the definition?
Let's hear it. Yeah.
Playwright. Somebody that writes a play.
I feel like that couldn't have been less helpful. But yeah, playwright. PLAYWRIGHT. Playwright.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give another round of applause.
Will they be able to hear this? They hear the
Oh
round
yeah,
of
they hear
applause?
this. All right. So congratulations, you passed the Charlie Hewitt spelling bee
I won
champion.
the Che bee.
You won the Che bee. That's right, the Che spelling bee, and our new champion of the year, spelling bee champion, Joshua Chaskes.
Thank
Live
you.
audience, let's give him a round of
Thank you.
applause.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
All right. So you are technically, I say technically here,
Technically.
a three-sport athlete,
I think
varsity
there's
athlete.
nothing technical about it.
Can you explain the three sports that you do?
I'm a three-sport varsity athlete in the three sports of cross country, swim team, and track. Should I go deeper into that?
No, we're just gonna skip over that part.
Sounds good.
No.
You just let me flex real quick, and then we can move on.
Yeah, I'll let you flex.
All right.
This is kind of our last topic before we end the Charlie Hewitt Experience, but
Oh.
well, no, okay, fine. We'll play another game.
Really?
Sponsored by Fun and Games and Conspiracies 2. This is the first time in J history where we're doing 2 games in one podcast. This is the last game that we're going to be
Just
playing.
too much fun and games.
And conspiracies. Check it out, Fun and Games and Conspiracies 2, funandgamesand.com. So there's this game that a lot of podcasters do that's called Answer the Internet.
Oh, no.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go online and I'm going to look up some of the web's top questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so ranked at number 2, what time is it, Josh?
Time to listen to the new episode of the Charlie Hewit Experience.
Beautiful response. And another number 4, how to tie a tie.
Well, you go like this,
Uh-huh.
and then you go around.
Yeah, I see it.
Then you go up
Okay.
and through,
Through.
and then you pull it nice and tight.
Nice. That was beautiful. And another one, ranked in
You had
number
to be
5, can you run it?
Can I run it?
Can you run it?
That's the question.
Can you run it?
Well, of course.
What are you running?
I don't know, man, but I'm definitely running it.
You're running something. Number 7. Hold on. It's not. Hold on. It says, can you get pregnant? And then it just says F. Can you get pregnant? F.
I like to think I can do anything I set my mind to. Justin didn't like that response.
Can dogs eat grapes? All right, I'm just going to answer that. No, dogs cannot eat grapes. Are you trying to kill your
Oh,
dog?
I didn't know that. I literally did not know
No.
that.
Do you have a dog? Josh, do you have a dog?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know. No, but I wasn't like feeding him grapes. It was just I didn't know that was like prohibited.
Right. Yeah, because, they're going to need their stomachs pumped or else they're going to die. So.
There's other people in my house who know more than me about taking care of dogs,
All right,
so I'm
good.
sure they're not
Good.
exposed to grapes.
All right, this is going to be our last one.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9. Can you see me? That's actually a question on number 9. The top 10 most often asked questions. Can you see me?
No, Charlie, I cannot.
My mind is blown. Actually, no, hold on. Wait, let me see if there are a couple more. Oh, there's another one that's actually very interesting.
Really?
Why is my poop green? That.
What am I supposed to say to this?
I don't know. Why is your poop green, Josh? Why is your poop
How did
green?
this get turned on me? You gotta I would say watch your diet, I guess, maybe.
Eat less asparagus.
Yes, for sure.
So Josh, are there any closing words that you would like to say about the Che, about yourself, about the world?
This has been a blast for me.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I would like to, I don't know.
Would you like to thank anybody for you getting to the spot on the Charlie Hewit Experience?
I would like to thank you first and foremost, Charlie Hewit.
Thank you.
I would like to thank my parents for raising me to a point where I was worthy of being on the Charlie Hewit Experience. I would like to thank What's Poppin' for being easily the greatest, most innovative social media experience
What's
I
Poppin'
have
is
ever
a social
tried.
media app that's on the App Store and soon Google Play. Check it out.
And I would like to thank the panel of judges for making me Mr. Thayer this Friday. Thank them in advance.
I don't even know how to respond because there's no chance. There's no chance.
Yeah,
well,
no,
first
there's
off,
actually
first
no. I'm
first
just
off,
going to
wait,
disclaimer that there
first
is
off-
actually no chance.
First off,
that was a joke.
I don't think there's a chance for me either. I think
don't think there's a chance for a lot of people.
I think it's going to come down to either Eben or Finn.
I think Eben and Finn are going to be the 2 finalists. I will be lucky to
I
make it
think they
past the
will.
first round.
Maybe Huinuan. Maybe.
If he's as good as he thinks he is, then yes.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Any closing words? Anything else?
Have a great day, guys.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching the video. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe, and check me out next Saturday for my special number 10 episode. Peace out.